But on the women's side, and the U.S. women beat Japan 102-76. And a reminder for everyone, this was the gold medal match in the 2001 Tokyo Olympics. So seeing them again for their first game now in the group stage. Our starting five was our girl DT, Diana Taurasi, Nafisa Collier, Brianna Stewart, Aja Wilson, and Chelsea Gray. Asia, along with Japan's Maki Takada, led all scorers with 24 points. And Asia, getting a double-double, doing the usual, 24 points, 13 rebounds. Brittany Griner, 1 rebound away from getting a double-double. The point guard, Chelsea Gray, led the team with 13 assists, and her no-look passes were chef's kiss. They were so smooth. Great vision on the court. As you can imagine, there was a bit of a size difference between Team USA and Japan, and we definitely used that to our advantage with a lot of over-the-head passes. We're just like, we're going to just use the air. No bounce. There was one sequence where literally the ball did not touch the ground because they're like, let's just throw it over these Japanese head and get it into the bucket. There were some sloppy moments from Team USA, but I'll excuse it. They haven't had as much time to practice because they are in the middle of their season with the WNBA. Japan have some 3-point shooters. They were nice.
Oh my god,
very nice. And also that team very fast. They play a certain kind of style that's very entertaining. Even though they lost by a good margin, it was still a very entertaining game. And if we got sloppy, they could have very easily beaten us. So the score doesn't kind of really give what the game actually was if you watch it. But there was no stopping Asia. There was no stopping Stewie. And BG was comically taller than everyone else. And it was very funny in a lot of moments. There was a moment that she was just palming the ball over their head. And it was one hand.
That shot from that photo of DT just like smiling, holding the ball up.
It was very funny.
Hey, I've been that short guy before, okay? It's not funny. Even though it is when it happens to someone else.
And one thing that I noticed from this game was one of the players for Japan, Miyazaki, not to be confused with the famous, not cartoonist, but animator. She had a smile on her face the whole game. She looked like she was having the best time in the world. And I want to be more like her because I'm like, losing and having the biggest smile and just like really big upping her teammates anytime there was like a major three or just like a really nice shot for them. So yeah, shout out to Miyazaki.
Yeah, I do. So a couple of things from watching this game. BG, like every center known to man and woman, when you have a 5-foot advantage, don't bring the ball down when you catch it. She did that a couple of times, and I'm like, oh, come on! As a person who is not as tall as you, but am armchair quarterbacking the whole time, when you get it up here, just turn and shoot. It's such a simple
and she
thing.
Did that a lot.
She did it a lot, but there's a couple of times I'm like, she got position, caught the ball, and then did the hard bounce, and then Japanese player knocked it out of her hands a couple of times, and I'm like, and then she was a little rusty at the start. That's why her double came a little bit easy because she would miss a layup. It's just an easy layup, but then she'd easily get the rebound back. So it was like, yep, here's a double coming with her only having minutes that she had. Asia is head and shoulders above everyone else, and it's not even funny. I mean, it's just such a separation in her talent over even
basically her and Brianna Stewart.
Yeah,
Brianna are the two best in the world.
And Brianna Stewart is so good off the ball with her positioning and stuff. And then there was one time where they did a perfect chef's kiss inside out. They threw it in to Brittany, to BG, to get the double team, swung it, got an open Sabrina, and I was like, well, just go ahead and march down the other way. Like, she should have done the look away like Steph did when that was. It was a beautiful ball movement.
And like Chelsea Gray, some of her no-look passes that went into Asia or went into Brianna Stewart, I'm just like, oh, this is beautiful. But yeah, Japan, their 3-pointers, like, no joke.
No, and I mean they were some like I was like, oh, that's good defense. Oh, damn. Okay, like I
Yeah.
mean, net wasn't even moving. How
Yeah.
smooth those threes were.
And shooting threes while BG's guarding you, like that must have felt really
Yeah.
good. We have Jeremy Miller here saying the Japan players looked like they were just happy to be there. They knew they weren't going to win.
Yeah, and most of the time when you're smiling with and you're just happy to be there, it does kind of. That's the one thing. It's like when it comes to the men and the women, it feels like the women are making it, steps towards being right there with the U.S. women, but there's still such a large gap
Mm-hmm.
compared to the men who, for those who don't know, in 1992, when who ever since 1992, the females have not lost a game in international play. Just so you know, the men obviously have known in '04 they took the bronze. It's the only time we ever. There's 3 times in the history that the men have not gold medaled. That was in '88, which made us do the dream team.
Mm-hmm.
'72, which is that Russian screw
Yeah.
job, and then in '04, which
I
made us
don't
do the
count
dream
that
team.
one. We should have won gold there.
Yeah, they still have yet to get those medals are stowed away somewhere. There's a third for 30. Go look it up. It's a great little documentary, even though the Russians won because of screw jobs. But the men in 1992, when the Dream Team happened, they faced 9 NBA players. I think it's 9 or 6. Now there are 68 NBA players that they're going up against in
Yeah.
because of just how much they've grown the game. I'm interested to see what the number is for if of the WNBA because I know that they do WNBA and that
Mm.
for and this is not
And
about wage gap or anything like that.
there's one playing for Spain who I laugh. She played at Iowa with Cece and Kate Martin, but she's a little bit older than them. She's not Spanish at all. Doesn't have any Spanish descent, but did kind of the Becky Hammon route,
Yeah,
like
but say who did Becky Hammon play for?
Russia.
Russia. Okay.
Yeah, so basically picked up a passport so that way they could go to the Olympics. Which hey, like if I had a chance to go to the Olympics, I'd do
Yeah.
it too.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. If you can, I mean, Serge Ibaka, he's not Spanish, and he played for Spain with the Soul Brothers.
yeah.
Just for how it all worked out. But people are getting on Joel Embiid, saying you should have just gone to Cameroon.
Or and the French were booing him because he
Mm-hmm.
also that was one of the teams that he could have chose as well.
Yeah.
So I felt a little bad for him, but then I was just like, yeah, that's just the French saying we wanted you and you chose the
Yeah,
U.S.
it's more of it. Hey, dude's medal chasing. That's a first. He's medal chasing. Let him medal chase. All right. But no, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, if you didn't watch Canada on the men's side, they look legit. Germany is doing pretty well. France, obviously, with Victor and Rudy Gobert, they are definitely have the 2 tallest players in the Olympics. I think 175, 173. One can do everything, and one is there. He's athletic, but he can't really do much with the basketball in his hands. In Rudy Gobert, but like I'm saying, like those are the type of things. Whereas the U.S. or women should basically
Yeah.
win every game by about 25 to 30.
And to add on top of that, one thing that's like, and they said this on the broadcast, the difference between the U.S. men and U.S. Women is that the men haven't had to play overseas. So that's kind of one of the things about the international game that they have to get more adjusted to, where unfortunately, because the pay wasn't right and still isn't right with the WNBA, a lot of these women have had to play overseas. So they've played against these opponents more frequently than the men have. So there's even add that on top of playing in the best league in the world and then also really knowing your opponents because you had to play overseas. That's one of the reasons why we're so dominant.
Yeah, but with the men's side, I remember someone like said something about like, well, the men are going to struggle because all the other teams are much more fundamentally sound. I was like, but have you looked at us? Like the athleticism overcompensates for the lack of fundamentals sometimes. Yes,
Yeah.
the turnovers are always going to be an issue, and even the U.S. women, there was a couple of times where they were just off on
Yeah.
their. I mean, I think Asia turned around to whip a ball, and of course, it did the whole miscommunication. And I think Sabrina might have been that did a cut when she was supposed to stay there. That happens all the time, especially
Yeah.
when you're still getting used to filling each other out. And that's the thing with The U.S.
And they only had 2 pre-games too.
Right.
So
Germany, and I forget the other one.
And the All-Star game.
All-Star game, that's right. Which they lost, man. No, it's good. They lost to a team whose coach was just like, I'm having fun, I don't know what I'm doing. Shout out to Sharon.
If it's a repeat of Tokyo, then that's what happened last time we won gold. So yeah. I'm here for it.
Yeah, but no, everything for both teams, solid start. Mm-hmm. Exactly what you need, and if it's some people are like, oh, we didn't win the game by 30, that was still a domination by both teams. Because once they got settled in, the dominant, you can just tell they're just a better team. It just is. They're going to wear you out.